if you're watching us on YouTube and you have noticed that Megan and I have worn the same outfit for the last two episodes in a row, no, you didn't. Mind your business.
Welcome back to Break Check. This is episode 3 of season 2, 41th episode in total. Juan, how was your weekend?
Did you say 41th?
I was trying to skip over it. It was fine.
My weekend was... You can't really ask me that on this episode.
I know, I just didn't.
So for those who don't know, we are recording this right after our 20th through 11th predictions, which came out last week. Pardon our mistakes because this is our first time doing this. So let's see. Next weekend, if I think about what I've got going on, I don't think anything. So I think I spent my weekend playing video games, maybe went out to eat, went and got a drink. Who's to say?
Ooh, fun.
Yeah. Megan, how was your weekend?
Well, when this episode comes out, my friends will be halfway through their trip of visiting me. I have my first visitors coming. That's also why we're recording 2 episodes in one go, because I will be busy just catching up with my friends who are going to be here. They're going to be here for a whole week during my reading week. So excited. We're going to Edinburgh, Scotland for 2 days, which I've never been. So excited to like leave the country a little bit and go somewhere new.
Very jealous.
I'm so excited. So yeah, very excited for that. Super excited to see my friends again. It'll be nice when I'm not going home for a few more months. So yeah.
We're going to be going through our World Driver Championship predictions 10 through number 1. And then I believe we will be getting into some hot takes after this, which Megan has been sitting on. She wants to get them off her chest. So excited for that. Megan, do you want to kick us off?
For sure. So 10th, this is also, I think, a little hopeful, but I put Valtteri Bottas. I think he was doing an incredible job in the Alfa Romeo last season when the car could perform. So I think I just have high expectations for Alfa Romeo to pick it up this semester, or not this semester. I keep saying this semester. This is the 4th time I have said semester instead of year. It's okay. So I think I have high hopes for the Alfa Romeo this year. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, he came in 10th last year. I don't think he'll get any worse than that. I'm knocking on some wood right now. But Valtteri has just become, honestly, he might be the Break Check favorite, just combined, like between the two of us. He might be the favorite guy that we have in common. I just want the best for him, and I hope the car gives him the opportunities to do so.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed. Number 9. I have Pierre Gasly. I think I have said that I think Ocon will beat Gasly. I in the past thought maybe it was just because Pierre's going to be, in a new car, a new situation after a bit of a tumultuous, disappointing year. But Pierre is no longer young, and I think his margin of error will be smaller than most because I think for a long time he's had the label of this is a really good driver. He just needs a good situation. Yeah, he has the situation now. So I think we are going to see what Pierre is made out of a little bit. And as I'll get into in a little bit, I think Esteban might just be a better driver.
See, okay, I actually a few days ago switched this because I did have, and you'll see it, but I did have Esteban where I put Pierre. But I, instead of Pierre, have Ocon at 9th. And the only reason I did this was, one, because year over year, Pierre has usually scored higher than Ocon when the cars were similar, other than last year. And then also, I think if you're comparing the two just personalities on the grid, I feel like Ocon can be more hot-headed. And if they do have any beef at any point, I think that will impact Ocon's performance more than it would impact Pierre's. I think Pierre can keep it pretty chilled, or like at least like not let it impact his race as much. However, the reason why I'm not super confident in this, even though I'm like committing to it, because of how Yuki was performing against Pierre last season, and I do think Yuki was outperforming him quite a bit.
Yeah.
I have this nervous suspicion that Pierre is not going to perform as I expect him to be. So I agree with your ninth, but I did put him a little bit higher. So we'll see.
Yuki was giving him some hands last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, so our 7 through 9, while different, are not entirely the same. So we swapped Esteban and Pierre.
Okay.
So I had Esteban 7th, Pierre 9th. You had it the other way. In the middle, though, we both had Lando Norris at 8th.
Yeah.
I think Lando will be Alpine's direct competition for both drivers. I think that the three of them will be together for most races generally. Lando's ability, not questioned. We all know how good of a driver he is, but as you said, you had some insider access. The car might be shit.
Yeah. Yeah, you can only do so much with a crap car. So I actually did have Lando quite higher in my original rankings, but then I went back to it and I was like, no one is having high hopes for this McLaren. I don't have high hopes. Like, I can't be unrealistic. So try to be more reasonable, put him at 8th. I think that's honestly the highest he would go, maybe 7th if the car is better than Alpine. But
yeah. Lando kind of starting to get to the point where he's not a young driver.
Yeah.
He's got to kind of
well, hang on. He's younger than us.
Yeah, but I mean, like, he's not a prospect anymore.
That's true. He's not like a rookie. He's been in it for a few years too.
That's more what I meant. So I think the pressure will start to build on him to compete. He is still a young driver. He's younger than us. Actually, I think a lot of the grid is younger than us. So from here, 6th and up, we have the same drivers. 6th and up.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We have there's only 6 drivers left that we haven't talked about.
Yeah,
but
fair.
We have none of them in the same order. And
I know you're going to disagree.
No, I'm glad that we saved 10th to 1st for this episode with not much else to talk about, because I think we're gonna have to have some discussions here.
Shall I say who I put 6th?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, cool. So I think Sergio Perez is going to be 6th. Okay. And that's way less of a reaction than I expected you to get.
I don't have him much higher.
Okay, cool. It's not because I think he's a bad driver. I just think the car, one, because I think Red Bull is so tailored to Max Verstappen, and I think after their spiff last year, they're going to still continue to prioritize Verstappen, like that he will always be their golden boy, especially if he's in contention for a championship again. Yeah. So I think that is going to start getting to Sergio a little bit more. And I do think that eventually will impact some of his performance. Not because he's a bad driver, but just because of just that tension and that culture of never being the first priority.
Yeah, no, I agree with everything you've said. However, I have him 4th because I think that the Red Bull will be too fast for him to be any lower than that. And I don't have a ton of faith in my team, whose drivers I have 5th and 6th.
Oh, no.
In 6th, I have Carlos Sainz, and in 5th, I have Charles Leclerc.
Okay. I mean, to be fair, I put Carlos 5th, so not too far off.
I think the top 6 drivers on the grid, I do not think. I think those are the top 6 drivers on the grid. I think there's not really much debate. The order, I definitely think that 5th and 6th is Carlos and Checo, however you shake it. But I do think the car that Checo will be in is going to be a rocket ship. And I think that will put him in 4th. For Carlos in 6th, my prediction, the only note I have is that he needs to start the season how he finished last season.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
My thing with Ferrari, and yes, they are my favorite team, I think, if I was to pick one, and just one of my favorite duos on the grid, but I mean, they also do have a new team principal, and I think that's partially why I have a little bit more faith in having Carl's and Charles a little bit higher. Just because I personally also think they are better drivers than Perez, and whether people agree with me or not, I think those two
Oh,
are better.
Charles 100% is.
Charles for sure.
Yeah.
I think Carlos and Perez could be pretty even, to be fair, because
they're just at different points in their career. It's kind of tough to compare them.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
So I feel like, especially Carlos and Sergio, I think fifth or sixth. Like I have Carlos fifth, but I could see him sixth, no problem. I think it really just depends on how they get on with this new team principal. However, I don't know how much of a rehaul they did at Ferrari in terms of just like new team members. Otherwise, I feel like they're very strict and very traditional and very. I feel like they could use a little bit of heavy lifting internally. So depending on the work that they did there.
Yeah.
No idea.
No, yeah, I as unhappy as they made Charles last year, and I think they need to I think they need to I think appease is the wrong word, but they need to strategize more in his favor and help him out more.
Yeah.
But I think there's like a misconception going on in F1 Twitter that like Charles needs to be babied by Ferrari.
Yeah.
And I do think maybe a bit more of an iron fist of management saying this is the decisions that we're making and this is why is needed. Because I think if you try and combine just constantly pleasing Charles with doing the best for the team, you end up with whatever we had last year.
You're right.
So I have Charles in fifth. Honestly, not because I think any less of him as a driver of who I have in the top four. I do not trust the development of Ferrari's car. However, strategy mistakes should be cleaned up this year. That shouldn't be as big of an issue. So now the pressure will just be on Charles to perform, I think.
Yeah. We'll see. It's you never know with Ferrari.
I just like if you look at the back half of the season, I just think that they are the third constructor.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I can't remember who had posted it, but someone had posted the placement or points of the teams during the second half of the season instead of like the first half. And Mercedes was number 2. I mean Mercedes was unstoppable, which is heavily influenced a lot of my ranking for this season because I do think Mercedes is going to be there this year. I still don't know how close to Red Bull, but I do think they picked it up quite a bit.
So I had Checo fourth. Obviously, we went over that. Who'd you have fourth?
I put George Russell. And that is largely due to the fact that I think the Mercedes is going to be significantly better this year. And George did incredible last season, and he surprised me probably the most, just with how well he jumped into that Mercedes and just so flawlessly adjusted, which you really don't see. You only really saw it with like Carlos Sainz in 2021. So
yeah,
I have high expectations for him just because he's in the Mercedes and they seem to have a really good grounding. Yeah, I just think he'll be more consistent than Carlos and Sergio. And that's also me where I put him.
Yeah, I have George in third next year.
Oh,
this
okay,
season coming up. I will not make the same mistake as last year when I had him like 11th or something like that. No, I've learned my lesson. I think last year he showed he's ready to compete for wins. And I think by the end of this season, and maybe this is a hot take, it probably is. I think by the end of this season, he might be the best driver not named Max or Lewis on the grid.
He could be there. I think he is a championship contender after Lewis leaves.
Yeah.
Like once he's gone, I think it'll be. Charles, I put third. Just because I have really high hopes.
Your voice sounded very confident saying that.
It was just pure emotion at that point. Yeah, it's I'm generally just like crossing all the fingers because I do think Charles should be a championship contender. It's just if Ferrari can work with him and kind of get it together and be more of like a grounding. Like you had mentioned, like I just think they really need to be more direct. I think that's what he needs. So yeah, we'll see if they can do it third easily. That's
yeah. No, they need to run like a normal team.
Yeah.
Um, so here we have different rankings for second and
Yeah.
first.
Which I'm
And
actually kind of shocked.
I know I put my pride aside. I think in second place we'll have Lewis Hamilton, and in first place we'll have Max Verstappen.
And while I think that that'll probably happen, I did put Lewis winning.
Okay.
Just because I think this is his redemption. This is his reputation era. This is his, comeback girl. I think this is his opportunity. I think it's a now or never situation for him winning another world championship. So I think there's a lot at stake for him this year, and I'm just really hoping it is. But I could definitely see for Red Bull winning the next like 5 years. So you never
Yeah.
know.
So my reasoning here is Red Bull's not just they're just not going to fall off.
Yeah.
I mean, if all the seasons of Drive to Survive, not this one obviously that's about to come out, but the
Mhm.
main plot is Mercedes being on top and Red Bull doing everything they can to catch them, and they
Yeah.
finally did, but it took so long.
It's true.
And I just feel like Red Bull's not going to fall off. They are the top team, and Mercedes is the one that's going to have to catch them now. Like Red Bull's not going to lose for them.
Right.
And I think it's unrealistic to expect it's going
Hmm.
to happen over one night when Red Bull, it took them 4 seasons to
Hmm.
really like put, 4 seasons to win a world driver championship against them and
Right.
5 seasons to win the constructors. I think, like
Yeah.
about that. So as much as, yeah, Lewis is like, it's a little bit like now or never. I
Yeah.
think a more realistic view would be for him to get his eighth before the new regulations in 2026, because I think
Hmm.
Mercedes will need some time to catch up to Red Bull.
Yeah. The only way I think this could happen where Lewis wins is if the Red Bull isn't as reliable this year as as it was last
Yeah.
year. Like because
It
last year it was not for a
No.
minute, and then as soon as it was, they were, off to the races. So I think it'll really depend on the reliability.
Yeah, which like it was kind of a talking point between Christian Horner and Toto
Hmm.
Wolff is, would you rather fix a fast car or make a reliable car fast? And I think
Hmm.
I think the answer is fix a fast car.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. I want Lewis is my favorite driver. I want
Yeah.
him to win. I will be rooting. I'll be wearing my little jersey every Sunday morning. But I think it's unrealistic to expect it to happen overnight.
Hmm.
We did pretty good.
Yeah, I think it's pretty solid. I think it's a lot less controversial than last year's. But it's definitely like a nice little mix up. Like there's definitely quite a few in the bottom half
Yeah.
even that are switched up quite a bit. So it yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I do want to say, not to I told you so, but last year I was crucified for my Lando Norris prediction. And look
Yeah.
where we are this year.
Yeah, I was overly eager on a few drivers last year. Hence the humbling for this one's
Yeah.
predictions.
Um yeah, I think I have a tendency to be overly harsh on some drivers, and we'll see if my
Mhm.
Ferrari predictions
Yeah.
will come back to bite me. But they are, if we want to segue into our hot takes,
Hmm.
they are the center of my main one. I don't know if you want to go shoot off a couple first, or you want to hear
Okay.
mine.
Maybe I'll shoot off one or two first because I
Okay.
have like six and I think you have one. So,
I've got like a couple different,
oh,
but
okay, cool. Okay.
that's my main one. Yeah.
Okay. Um, so my first hot take is I think either Mick replaces Sargent after 2023 from having a really good experience as a sub driver during the season. I think something happens, he subs in, gets some points, and then automatically secures the signage. Or Sargent moves to AlphaTauri and they drop Sonoda just solely due to the fact that Ford is joining Red Bull now and having that American tie with an American driver. They don't really have another American option at
No.
Red Bull. So I think that I could totally see them taking him after the season.
Yeah, no, that's uh that'd be like that'd be a little shocking,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, that would be interesting. I think that this year a driver will not make it to the end of the year. And my top
Ooh.
candidate for that is Nico Hulkenberg.
Honestly, I could see that happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um I mean, he's in a bad car that needs money,
Hmm.
and I don't think he brings any. I could see him maybe no, not Stroll. Never mind. I could see Nico
Mm.
Hulkenberg not making it through the year.
Yeah, I could see that too. I'm hopeful for him. It's not that I don't like him. I think he's rusty and the car isn't super great either. So
Yeah.
yeah, we'll see. Um, I think Lando will have his first win, and I think Perez will have no wins.
Ooh. Okay. I disagree on both accounts,
Yes.
but I this gives me a great opportunity
Hmm.
to tell you that I do not think Ferrari will win a race this year. Not a single one.
No.
Not one race.
I don't know about that.
Not one.
Wow. Okay.
Not
So
uno.
no, no. Okay, great. So we both disagree on each other's thoughts on the
Yeah. So
wins.
when they win the first race this year, I don't want to hear anything about
I want to cut
it.
back to this clip specifically.
I'm just gonna delete the file.
Yeah. I want
Um.
that. I want a clip if Perez wins. We'll call
Okay.
it if Perez wins, you can go at it, whatever. I do run I post on the social slows to be nice, but then Lando, I think he's gonna have his win. He needs to. I mean, he's been in it a minute. Um, and I don't know.
Most F1 drivers don't win a race. I'm
I
just
know.
saying.
I know.
Um,
Yeah.
I really don't believe in Ferrari. Like I just don't. I just do not. I think Charles is such a good driver, but he's a cut below the Max and Lewis's and Vettels and even Alonso's of the world in their prime.
Yeah.
I just don't. I just. I just don't think it's gonna happen.
I think it will, but we'll see. I mean, it really depends. I mean, the McLaren's going to be
Yeah.
garbage for like the beginning. So I think it could be another situation like at the Russian Grand Prix where Lando could have had it and then he didn't.
Okay.
I think it's gonna be like a wet like at Spa maybe or maybe even at Monza. I
Yeah.
could see it happening. I feel like those races usually it's always switched up a bit. So
Yeah.
or if he has a really good qualifying at Monaco, I could see that too.
Yeah. This was something that we brought up last year. I think it's a nice
Mhm.
little superlative. Who's your candidate for most random race win of the year?
Most random. Oh, um, Oscar Piastri. I
Oh,
think if Oscar Piastri wins before Lando.
oh my gosh. Oh yeah, I you wouldn't hear the end of it from me.
No.
Oh my goodness. I think Botas is my candidate for most random race
Oh, I
winner.
would love that. Oh, I hope it is.
Yeah.
I would actually love to see Esteban or Pierre. I think that would be really cool if we get an Alpine win.
That would be kind of the next step for Alpine, I think.
Mhm.
They're my sneaky team, I think.
I really like them. I don't know. I
Yeah.
like the duo. I don't know. I mean, I like Ferrari a little bit more now that we have Matteo out and we've got what's his name. I really do like him. So,
Yeah,
but
Frederick Vasseur.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So, but yeah, Alpine's, they're growing on me.
I
Same with
agree.
Alpha. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's too bad Alpha's on their way out.
I know. But Audi's coming and I love Audi, so that'll be really cool.
I'm
But
more of a
yeah,
Porsche man myself.
that's fair.
It's all right.
Okay.
But did
Moving
we
on
miss
forward.
anything? Do you have any more hot takes?
Um, I just think more Audi team rumors will come about. I feel like we'll hear more about what Seb's doing. I don't think Daniel will sub at all this year. I generally like other than maybe an FP1 testing, I don't think we'll really see him in a car. Um, and then Oh, I just think we're gonna get way more Perez and Verstappen clashing. Like I think there's gonna be a big breakout about something with them.
Yeah, so he'll make it through this season, but in
Yeah.
2 seasons, so 2024, is
Yeah.
Perez the second Red Bull driver?
I think they're his best bet. Like I don't know who else you would put next to him, honestly. And unless DeVries is like impeccable the next two
Yeah,
years in AlphaTauri, I don't see why they would get rid of him until the regulations.
it's I think it's like it's tough because Perez is I feel like Perez is the perfect combination of
Mm-hmm.
you will you will win the constructors with him as your second, but he won't challenge Max.
Yeah.
I mean, Max is just better. But I think if you take him out and put like a younger driver or a more inexperienced driver, you're at risk of losing the constructors then, I think.
Right.
So I think it just depends like how much are they
Mm-hmm.
willing to live with like the clashes that I
Yeah.
think they are inevitably going to have off. I think all bets are off now. Like, I
Yeah.
don't think they're going to fully play nice anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But a part of me says he's not going to be there in a couple of years.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be there for 2026, but I could
No.
see them giving him a 2025 contract. And then I could honestly see him being done in F1 because he has a whole family.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like he would do really well in some like rally car, like something else. So I could totally see him doing something a little less maintenance or like less of a commitment after
Yeah.
2024, 2025. And then just so he has more time with his family because that guy's never at home.
Hear me out. This is a hot take.
Hmm.
Lewis wins his 8th world title in the next couple of years.
Hmm.
George becomes the face of Mercedes.
Hmm.
They don't want to bring in another young driver. They want to win the constructors. They bring in Checo as their second driver.
No. No, okay.
Just
No.
saying. Or bring back Bottas.
Oh, I would love just, I mean, okay, only though if they give him more than 1 year. The poor
Yeah.
guy, like,
Yeah.
been like 5 years with 1 year. I'd go
Yeah.
crazy. I could honestly see Mercedes bringing in Lando or Charles if they bring in someone younger.
Charles would be interesting, I
I would
think.
love Charles there. I think that
Yeah.
would be cool. Him and George.
I do think that Charles will not finish his career with Ferrari.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I think I don't think that they will win a world driver championship or constructor in the next 3 years. I think they're just destined for a breakup.
But I also don't see Charles going to a lower team.
No.
So I feel like if he doesn't stay with Ferrari, he goes to Mercedes.
Unless he knows something that we don't, because Lewis, when he went to Mercedes, technically went to a lower team.
True.
They were not that good, and
True.
they went on the best run ever. So unless Charles has some intel that like Alpine is like gonna take off, in the next couple of years, I think you're right. I don't think he'll go to a lower team, but
yeah, we'll see. I think that was it. I think those are all my predictions. Because I had mentioned Magnussen, I think he leaves at the end of the 2023 season.
Yeah.
So,
man, Logan Sargent's not going to be good.
Okay, hot take. What if Logan beats Albon in the standings?
Look me in the eyes and tell me you believe that.
No, I don't. I can't even say it with a straight face.
Yeah, no, I don't see it.
No.
Thank you everyone for listening. This is a bit of a not weird episode, but it's different recording.
Very casual.
Yeah, pretty open forum. It's weird recording a second episode back to back.
Yeah, this was interesting. I think it's good for moments like this where we're both, things going on, but it's a different flow.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I don't know how some people do like 3.5 hour podcasts, because even right now I'm a little like kind
of worded out.
Yeah. How do people do that?
I mean, I love to talk, don't get me wrong, but like I would need a break at some point. This is a great episode. Please let us know your thoughts. on our predictions. Do you think Max will get it? Do you think Lewis will get it? Maybe I'll do a poll when we release this episode. But yeah, let us know your thoughts. Check out our TikToks, check out our Instagram and our Twitter. And we'll start using that again. And yeah, follow us, give us a rating. Thanks for listening.
Yep. At Break Check F1, we'll see you soon.